One of the most iconic first-person shooters ever made is probably Quake II. Released by id Software in 1997, Quake II was an absolutely masterpiece when it came to arena shooters and early multiplayer games. I remember the early days of multiplayer deathmatching and myself being a fan of the classic shooters. This is a game I played a lot back in the day. When this was released back in 1997, I was living in the UK and remember playing with my buddies. And although leaving Quake for Unreal Tournament later, I still have a soft spot for Quake. We've heard rumors of an enhanced version of Quake II before, and in June it was reported that a South Korean rating was spotted, and last Friday we finally got a surprise drop of the Quake II Enhanced version during QuakeCon 2023. Don't worry, this is not a complete overhaul or a ground-up remake. This is still the same old Quake II that we know and love. It's got the same iconic weapons, same strogified enemies, and the same soundtrack, although it sounds better this time. The studio behind the main part of this version are Night Dive Studios, and aside from porting the old content to the Kex engine, the visuals were updated, campaigns and crossplay were added, and the Strogs got a few more much-needed brain cells added. So let's talk about how this runs on your Ally. Although this is the enhanced version, the core of the game is a 26-year-old game. A good thing with this is that it's a 26-year-old good game, and it would be safe to say that Quake II still is a good game even in its original version. This means that this will run really well on lower spec PCs, and it will run really well on the Ally. During my sessions I had 100 to 120 frames per second constantly, and it was a blast playing. It's safe to say that Quake II is still a good game in its original version, but the enhanced version adds a few welcome additions, making it shine even more. This updated and enhanced version went through the polishing machine a few times, courtesy of Night Dive, and the result is truly magnificent. Before we talk about the story, I'll let Ryan go through the overview of the game.
Shortly after landing on an alien surface, you learn that hundreds of your men have been reduced to just a few. Now you must fight your way through heavily fortified military installations, lower the city's defenses, and shut down the enemy's war machine. Only then will the fate of humanity be known.
Thanks, Ryan. The story of Quake II takes place in a futuristic sci-fi environment. Earth had been invaded by the evil Strogs, and now it's up to you as the Marine Bitterman to save Earth by counter-attacking the Strog home planet Strogos. During the first attack, most of the Marine landing pods are hit by a powerful EMP, by what's called the Big Gun, spreading all the pods all over the place like sprinkles on a soggy ice cream, leaving you to take matters in your own hands. The Strog are a race of cybernetic aliens that invade planets for resource and population reasons. Since they are unable to do the baby making themselves, they need to transform living beings into brainless cyborgs to serve their war machine through a process called strogification. As a bonus, they like to harvest the flesh of their enemies to create a biofuel called Stroyant to fuel their Strog homes, their Strog TVs, and their Strog iPhones. Invading Earth was kind of a douche move, and that's why we now have to counterattack the Strogs ourselves. I don't think this story is enough to sell this game. What is, on the other hand, is gameplay that is tighter than Snoop's latest leaked mixtape. If you like boomer shooters, retro shooters, and the classic arena shooters, this will make you happy. We get the original Quake II campaign plus both the old mission packs, The Reckoning and Ground Zero. Included is also the exclusive N64 version, as well as a new campaign from Machine Games called Call of the Machine. Before I talk about the visual improvements, I will talk about multiplayer functionality. To me, Quake has always been about multiplayer, and here we have split-screen co-op and online multiplayer, cross-play, insta-gib, and randomized weapons. If you know Quake multiplayer since before, this is the same awesome feeling but more and better. You can add bots in deathmatch and team deathmatch, both in online and offline mode. They are pretty smart and can even rocket jump. If you're a new player, set them to training, and if you're a seasoned pro, go for the nightmare settings of the bots. Quake II Enhanced also got other additions and improvements. Better lighting, shadows and models, as well as a new muzzle flash, tick improvements, and an upgraded AI are some of the additions that makes Quake II an absolute joy to play. One of the biggest improvements is how Quake II looks. Now we can play the game in gloriously looking 4K and 120 frames per second. Of course, depending on what system you're sitting on and if the system can handle it. Quake 2 still gives me the same kind of goosebumps it did back in 1997. It's fast, it's fun, and it's one of the best retro shooters ever made. No matter if you've played it before or want to play it for the first time, go play it on Game Pass, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC or PlayStation 4 and 5. If you have Quake 2 since before the enhanced version was released, this is available as a free update. And if you have to buy it, it will set you back around $10 or euro, and about £8. Worth every penny if you ask me. That's all for today's video, folks. I hope you found this video informative and awesome. If you did, please show some love by liking and sharing the video. And if you haven't already, a follow would make my day. I love reading and answering your comments, so leave a comment below with what you want to see next, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Until next time, stay safe, stay gold, and see ya.